So today we brought in two of the area's most knowledgeable people in the football game, Ryan Slocum from State Champs Network and the voice of Davison football and the Great Lakes Loons, Chris Jared. Thanks for coming, guys. Let's start with the Cardinals coming off those back-to-back state championship appearances. Things haven't started as planned for them this season. What do you think going on with them?
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I think, Mason, that might have been a little bit of the expectation. The expectations are obviously really high when you come off of 2 trips to Ford Field back-to-back years, but this is a group that knew that they had a lot of younger guys filling some big shoes.
Absolutely. You lost a lot of guys, starting with Brendan Sullivan. Of course, that's a massive hole to fill. Hemmeline's done what he can so far. And then you look at your line, and you had an injury at the beginning of the year as well. Jalen Flowers didn't play in the first couple of games, so I think they didn't know what to expect exactly. And that's always the thing. You can't win 9 games every single year. You can't make the state championship game every single year. So I thought there'd be some growing pains here, and now maybe they got the ball rolling a little bit getting into the middle of the season.
Yeah, I'm looking at the SVO. There's some new faces coming into the picture. Who do you think's really stood out there?
Well, obviously Grand Blanc. I know a lot of people around here aren't going to want to hear that, but obviously Grand Blanc, they're rolling right now. We thought they might be the class of the southern area, and they are doing exactly as advertised. They're rolling, they're undefeated, they're playing very well, ranked as high as number 2 in I think some of the rankings, depending on who you look at. And then up top, Mount Pleasant has been the standout, but you never know. There's a Lapeer team that I think is very good too.
Well, and what I think is special about the SVL, especially in the South that you were mentioning, Lapeer win it in 2019 when Davison would beat them and go all the way to Ford Field. Then you had Davison's year in 2020. Now you've got Grand Blanc, and it's just kind of been a rotating cycle where you've had those 3 teams, the best in the area, frankly, as of late, kind of taking their turns atop the SVL in the South. So I think it is Grand Blanc's turn. But, just the way that it's going to fall in terms of the district picture, you might have another team get a shot at them, and that Lapeer game is going to be tough.
Well, and Grand Blanc also, man, they're kind of the opposite of Davison because they're very heavy with the upperclassmen right now. You got Elijah running the ball, one of the best players in the entire state. He's a Mr. Football candidate for our Mr. Football Award. He's in the top 10 right now. They got a quarterback that won a baseball state championship, and the team won the basketball state title. So they kind of know how to win right now. Their guys have done it. So, it's probably their year. I don't see any fall off here the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and looking at those Traverse cities that are going to get into the mix, I know it's kind of looking ahead, but what are you guys' thoughts on that?
I was shocked, man. I don't know what you thought, but when I saw that, I was absolutely shocked because I think from Davison to Traverse City is like 4 hours or something. I don't know how they're going to do it. Have you heard anything? Are any of the southern teams going to have to play them, or are they just going to play all the northern teams?
You do have right now some teams in the blue and red taking each other on.
Yeah.
So it is a long trip up there, and you've got to think for Traverse City, all of their games, if they're not home, they're going to be going back and forth across the state a good amount, but maybe it broadens the horizons a little bit of the league.
Well, and it's a 2-year deal, so maybe after 2 years, if it's not working, they're going to say, thanks, boys, we'll see you later. But I think part of that, too, is in the district, the Midlands, the Dows, in Division II, they always have to play the Traverse City schools, so I think maybe that played a part in it, and those Traverse City schools, they're by far the biggest schools up there. They have nobody else to play. So I think that's maybe why they did it. I'm not exactly sure, but I thought about Davison and Lapeer. As soon as I heard it, I'm like, that's 4 hours, man. Holy cow. We'll see how that plays out. It's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're in homecoming week right now, obviously. We got all the school spirit going around, all these festivities. Can you talk to me about what makes that so special here in Davison?
I think this year maybe it's bigger picture time. When you look at everything that's happened in the last year to 2 years. For fans, it's always fun to watch a high school football game. But for it to be homecoming, what really brings it into perspective is the experiences for the kids and the fact that they haven't had those in the last year and a half. So it's just going to be great to see.
That's a great point. Yeah, they had no dance last year, no parade, none of that. I think about just where we're at right now. Got the new field, got the new track, everything that's going on over here. They're building all these things. Maybe if you are someone who's coming home that hasn't seen any of this, maybe you're a graduate 5 years ago, 20 years ago, you might come here and be like, whoa, this is awesome, man. And then you're kind of proud of your school we're winning and we're getting all this new stuff and it looks great, man. We look pretty big time here.
This is your first time seeing it, Ryan. What do you think?
Yeah, this is awesome, man. You know, I knew it would be. I've seen the drone shots and pictures and everything, but man, this is awesome. I love the turf. I like the 2 different colors every few yards, 10, 5 yards, whatever it is, man. It looks beautiful. Walked on the track, had a little new track feel to it. You know, it looks great, man.
Yeah. And finally, so they're 2-3 right now. What do you guys think about their playoff chances? What do you think it's going to take for them to get into the playoffs?
It's just one at a time, right? I mean, you got to just take it one game at a time. Looking at the schedule, it's there, the opportunity's there, but you can't overlook anyone. You've got to take it one game at a time, and I'm sure that's the message in the locker room right now.
It depends on what other teams do, whether if you only win 5 that you're going to get in. We'll see. Obviously, that's happened before. Davison's done it. Grand Blanc has done it numerous years in a row with only 5 wins.
Yeah.
I think they're going to win the next 3. I don't see any problem with the next 3. No offense to those teams, but they're having, you know, the Saginaw's and the Powers, they're having down years right now. I think it's going to come down to that last game, man. It's going to come down to Lapeer, whether you can get that last win to guarantee that you're going to get in there. And I'll tell you, Lapeer's a tough team. After losing their first game, they can run that ball, man. Braden McKenna is a bad boy, man. He's pretty good.
They can sling it pretty well too. What an experience for these guys too that are still trying to build that experience at the varsity level. But you're put right in a position where it's okay. Every game moving out is going to dictate if we play in October or not.
Yeah, and you got the coaching staff to do it too. You know they're going to be prepared. You're going to be prepared for that last game, and I like how the schedule played out though for them too, where you do have some winnable games here in a row. You got a few of them right in a row. Build that confidence going into week 9. That's what they need, because if they win 3 in a row, which would then be 4 in a row, man, they're going to feel, you know, they're going to be ready to go for Lapeer last week.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for coming here today. That's the end of our show. We'll see you at the game time, folks.